We've made it to the last chapter, chapter 32, A Summer's Day. The car outside the Hotel Savoy, a whole mountain of half-smoked cigarillos had collected under its open window. Few people smoke cigarillos, and even fewer only smoke them halfway. I bet it will turn out that they were your cigarillos. Even if they were, that proves nothing. I am not done yet. This morning I was attacked by someone in a black cloak. It was you. I sure can empathize with whoever attacked you. Maybe you didn't notice, but I tore off a piece of your coat. This scrap here fits perfectly into the hole on your shoulder. The accused was visibly surprised as he peered at the tear in his coat. Furthermore, the imprint on the bump on my head is an exact match for the pattern on the knob of your cane. Now the man pressed his lips together and stared at Sir London's forehead. And finally, I bet that package under your arm contains a book, the Elixir. Since the book is so important to you, I imagine you won't be letting it out of your sight anytime soon. Not now that it has been taken from its supposedly safe hiding place. The representative of the bank was silent. All color drained from his face. He clung on tight to the package. The book, you're not getting it, he stammered and eyed Sir London. I'll make you a deal, said Sir London. You acknowledge in your records that you received the full amount owing to your bank today from Lily's grandpa. I won't lay charges and we'll all forget about the book. For a few seconds, which seemed like an eternity, the man considered Sir London with a nervous look. He seemed to be weighing his options. His features grew more and more tense, and his pale skin turned increasingly red. The cigarillo crumbled under the grinding of his teeth. Suddenly he pulled a document from his coat pocket, slammed it down onto the wooden case, and began to fill it in quickly. After he signed it, he handed the fountain pen to Lily's grandpa. None of us dared move, let alone speak, as if we might blow it all if we did. We looked on, silent and motionless, as Lily's grandpa took the pen in his trembling hand, examined the document, and finally signed it. As he handed the pen back, he glanced over at Lily with a relaxed smile and tears in his eyes. She put her hands in her face and looked at him half questioningly, half bewildered. Lily's grandpa nodded and whispered faintly, The debts are gone. Lily screamed and fell into his arms. Marvin jumped after her and threw himself into the embrace too. The three of them almost toppled over. I smiled at Sir London and nodded gratefully, to which he replied with a quick, sly wink. Group hugs aren't really my thing, but when Lily looked over at me, tears in her eyes and a demanding expression on her face, I joined in for a bit. The creaking beams of the attic floor made us look up. It was the footsteps of the stocky man, who was retreating in silence. Didn't you forget something? I called after him and gestured to his cigarillo, which still lay on the floor. The fiery look he gave me showed he was livid. I tried to hold his gaze. I was probably imagining things, or maybe it was the shadows in the twilight of the attic playing tricks on me. But for a second, I could have sworn his eyes and mouth turned pitch black, just as the legend had described the guardians of the dark power. Suddenly I felt funny. My knees shook. When he finally did turn and quickly went down the stairs without having picked up his cigarillo, I knew exactly what he'd wanted to say to me with his look. This isn't over, he told me. And look out, We will meet again. I watched him go, deeply intimidated. Only then did I hear the laughter around me and feel Lily's hand patting me on the back. And the fear gave way to relief. Up until moments before, I'd still thought all was lost. But now I found myself overjoyed and surrounded by friends. It was still early in the morning, but you could already tell it was going to be a hot day. Swimming weather. The smell of freshly mown lawns would hang in the air. Somewhere music would be playing, and somewhere a new adventure would begin. The end.